And we're back! And so is the sun. We have our map 1 completed. We are now going into map number 2 here. T4T in the hot seat. They get the first map pick, and they also are going to get that first ban as well in their favor, right? So it comes down where we're going to go. You can see the background's always an indicator of where we're going to head to next. They decide to go King's Row, full brawl, going crazy with it. And with the way that they were able to kind of flex between Ram and Zarya, this makes complete sense to me as to why they want to go King's Row for map number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, I mean, we're going to continue to see the brawl, which is not a surprise, especially given that we're in the EU region. I will say Wrecking Ball is always going to be back on the table because it cannot be banned for the side of T4T anymore. So that's always a possibility for Brigged, but the way their Amatra went for them, it wouldn't be surprised. But I feel like these bans are going to be important for T4T. The question is, do you look to ban a Ram that was looking very good? Do you look to ban Shadowy's Reaper? There's just a lot of questions to be answered.
It really, you're right, right? Like, there's so many things to think about. There's so many things that went right, went wrong, and kind of went, oh, kind of iffy in that, in that round 1, especially with the composition that Brigged Up did bring to the table. They brought that Ram, as you mentioned. They brought Shadowy's Reaper, the Freya, as well. I also want to note, getting big value and big bola shots as well. Pretty much in the first 20 seconds of the fight. Who's surprised? It's Freya, but these are all very valid bans that could come into fruition from T4T because they, again, do have that first ban selection in their favor. And as you mentioned, Ball is back online. And we know how Ball players are. They will play Ball wherever, whenever. They know how to play him on every single map because they have done it in the past, and they forced the ball, and it works because people aren't expecting a dive or a ball on King's Row. So that also might be a little bit of an advantage that T4T can use in their favor.
It's all, as I mentioned before the break, this is definitely a must-win for the side of T4T, especially the way that first map went dominating fashion for Brigged Up. You lose this one, I don't know if a reverse sweep is going to be possible, but you never know. So let's see, with the very important ban on the line, where does T4T decide to go with this? And they have decided it's going to be Shadowy's Reaper.
Oh, it sure is. Shadowy doing a little bit too much. I mean, the damage output, fantastic. The self-heal, sorry, the life-steal in a 1v1 scenario where Reaper can win more often than not, amazing. Shadow Step and Wraith form, yeah, nothing more to be said. And, of course, Blossom has been a lot of pain that T4T don't want to really deal with. So the ban makes complete sense. And on that note, Brigged Up now having the opportunity to go for their own ban, and they're going to take out the Brig here. Interestingly enough, right? We didn't really see Brig previously. We didn't see Brig, even in the greater meta space, not really get picked a lot. So I think this is just a ban, just for a ban.
I don't know, man. I just want to say boo. Your name is Brigged Up and you banned the Brig. Boo.
Boo.
That is not
and
on.
your,
That is not on
is
brand.
Brig.
That is not on brand.
Right? Oh, we got word. Go ahead, Ray. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just got word that it's not actually it's not actually a Brig ban. Sorry, guys. It is a Kiri ban. I'm sorry, Brigged Up. I take back everything I said. You guys are back on brand again. Whoopee.
Here's my apology form. Please take it, and I'll sign it, everything. But yes, Kiriko is the ban of choice, not Brigitte. Yeah, we were both like, we just banned to ban. I see. No, Kiriko makes a lot of sense. She is just always been so strong. Basically, pretty much since release. A little bit of a break she did have when Juno and Brig were meta for a while, but now she's back in her full force, and that does change up that backline a lot, right? You might see Brig and Juno come out. Instead, you might see Lucio Bap. I would love to see Baptiste come out. Also, an Ana is always a fun little curveball to throw onto King's Row. So I like the Kiriko ban a lot, especially in the face of Shadowy's Reaper specifically being banned out by T4T.
King's Row is going to be our server destination for map number 2. You know, expect a lot of brawl. We'll see if we're going to continue to see Rose on the Zarya, or if we see a Sojourn back to the Ramatra v Ramatra matchup. But as I say that, Rose is going to go, at least currently, show a little bit more of a diva look, which Diva's also been a very strong off tank in the meta. It's just going to be about playing your positioning perfectly against this Ramatra, so that, you know, you keep your distance, you're able to get on top of You know, like Mikey, for example, on the Sojourn. But you also have to, problem is you also have to keep your distance for the May. The May can be a nuisance on the Diva.
Yeah, for sure. And we had mentioned previously the possibility of having a diva come out, and Rose thankfully is hovering over the character. But spawn rooms are spawn rooms; they can always stop very last minute. They always do this to us. Like you see, Tommy not going to be committing to that life fever, going to be going over to mirror Vincio's Lucio once again. I love that we're seeing the Bap and Lucio from both of our backlines here. But with that being said, T4T walking through the fray with the Symmetra intel. They're scouting out Shadowy's May here, looking for that May wall. Not gonna find it quite yet. They teleport straight towards that upper high ground and are pushing off this Sojourn and pushing off everyone else off of the high ground. Vincio could not speed out fast enough, funnily enough. Taken out by Tommy. We take out Fallen in the meantime as a 1-for-1 trade-off. So we have a 4v4 happening on the objective, but they're being completely surrounded. They're gonna opt to try and attempt to flip the map, but there is Comrack there in the back line on that Freya, basically threatening Mikey from exiting the hotel.
Yeah, we'll see what Comrack able to do on this Freya. We saw previously Mikey had been farming on the Freya, but great trades coming on both sides, but everyone's got their full teams back.
Oh, not without Shadowy, though. They go for a teleport to the high ground again. I think Shadowy's kind of got called out before that May Ice was able to come out in time. Mikey gets a really beautiful rail shot onto Tommy. Great, but you're still in a deficit of numbers. And again, T4T really showcasing a really good point flip here, getting the objective in their belt, and not only that, already unlocking 1, if not 2 points here.
Yeah, I love seeing Comrack coming out and pulling out that Freya. Already been showing a dominating type force. Mikey still has been shredding their stuff on the Sojourn as well, and they all got the favorable spawn, so they should be able to push up and hold at this archway if they so choose to do so.
Brigged are trying to make sure that they regain hold of the archway, but with Fallen, yeah, with Fallen being at such high charge, yeah, you're gonna get run right on over, and they're being pushed all the way back, except for one person, one lone soul, objecting the objective.
Yeah, the immortality field was just half a second late, so they couldn't keep him up, and now everyone has to reset. It's going to be long spawns. I do like the idea of going over to the Venture. The Venture can disrupt the Symmetra pretty heavily. So we'll have to see if they can continue to do that, because they haven't really gotten a full team fight yet with the swap coming in yet.
No, they haven't. And they also have 4 ultimates online here for T4T, up against 3.5 from Brigged Up. The window comes in. I love the placement of it. The bullet shot going to be going through it, getting that extra damage amplification, but not finding a single target. So Comrack has to follow up on Shadowy post the bullet shot. And this is a completely different team here. T4T is maybe shifted from round 1 to map 2. It has been completely different, but they're still gonna try to fight these guys in the corner. Brigged Up cornering themselves a lot here. ET Horse by Mikey going so low, but otherwise we have Rose's bomb online as a safe resort.
Here we go. Windows coming out. Photon barrier to try and protect the teams. Let's see how this fares well.
Ooh, what a lamb. What a lamb. Allows Annihilation to come through, and the Photon barrier getting basically not too much, not much of a failsafe for T4T, but you did see Brigged Up use 3 pretty big ultimates, especially landing over the support ultimates.
I mean, again, it was a very expensive 3 ult fight for the side of Brigged Up, but they needed to stabilize. They couldn't let the first 2 points get capped and them having, close to a 5-minute time bank for a 3rd point. Mikey's still going to have this overclock for the next fight, so you have to hopefully get a lot of value out of this. The issue is Tommy has the sound barrier.
Tommy sure does, and you can really see them kind of bullying Handball Sauce off of that high ground area. There's a very small high ground, a little bit of an advantage, but you're bullied off of it nevertheless. And now calling out Shadowy, but Shadowy still finds that forced self-destruction. Overclock gets committed by Mikey in the meantime, though. While we do see a remake coming in from Rose off on the high ground, we lose Comrack. That's big. That's big. It's a big damage indicator. No longer in the engagement, and we're also seeing the sound barrier get used right in the nick of time before Rose gets another D-Meg for themselves. T4T still holding strong as they are on the high ground. They are rotating around Brigged Up, and Brigged Up are waiting for Shadowy to build up to another Tectonic Shock to maybe bully T4T away from the objective with only 2 minutes to spare.
Yeah, getting that D-Mech onto Rose was a big deal. However, they have gotten a Horse Boy in the back line, but without your tank, it's just going to be almost impossible to be able to finish off this fight.
There's a Symmetra there as well from Fallen, who's going to get, unfortunately, a little bit staggered out as well, which is not what you want to see in the last minute 45. Yeah, Fallen takes care of Vincio, but you can reset at the Archway if you really wanted to, if you're T4T.
Still going to have a window from Bluey. Rose going over to that Zarya now. So they just felt the D.Va has played its time out. So now they feel like they need more damage in that frontline brawl, and I don't blame them for that. As we see Shadowy going for a sneaky tectonic shock. Looks like, you know, they're pathing in an interesting direction as we see already them attacking the TP.
Try to go for the Lucio as well, but Tommy a little bit too difficult to pin down for the Venture. Fallen as well in the corner, and there's a follow-up. Shadowy left without no cooldowns, no resources. Bola shot gets used in response to that window, and they walk right into it. Comrack basically single-handedly winning out the engagement, shutting down what should have been an insane fight here for Brigged Up.
And that should be the point, Cap. I mean, you might be able to get a cheeky touch. I mean, they do have 4 ults, so maybe they will attempt to do this. And it looks like at least the Venture's going to, which I understand. I get it. You can stall for a minute here.
Well, there is Shadow with the stall, but again, oh, it stalled just long enough for the Sound Barrier to come in, and we couple that with that Tectonic Shock from Shadowy. It takes care of that Immortality field, great, but the extra pressure output, the extra damage output is very much welcomed from Brigged Up. They somehow, some way, at just 27 centimeters, are able to hold the objective for the next 15 seconds.
Wow, insane to be able to get that touch and only use 2 ultimates, and I don't even think they get a touch. And if so, if anyone gets close, you just pop overclock and stop them from touching. For how this match was going, Mott, to end up getting a second point hold, what a comeback from the side of Brigged Up.
Yeah, I had to agree with you. They barely, again, 27 centimeters is all that stopped T4T from getting that refresh of another minute and a half going to third point, right? That's so close, and pretty much Brigged Up know where their goal post is. It's second point. We gotta get those 3 ticks on the first objective and then push the cart right through the archway. And again, T4T, as you mentioned, they had such a good opener here. They had ran through the archway, one of the biggest obstacles in the first phase of attack after unlocking the objective, but they ran right through it. It was just the Venture from Shadowy able to get so much of that stall with, of course, their invincible berry.
As we take a look for the side of T4T on this defense, the question is, what tank do they like to go with? Obviously, they could stick with the Zarya. They could go back to the D.Va, which the D.Va can control that high ground naturally a lot easier on the defense. But obviously, the Zarya is going to have a lot more frontline pressure. So the question is, what do they feel is more important in this matchup to try and get them a win?
They gotta figure it out, and they didn't make that many big mistakes either. That's the crazy part. So it makes it even more difficult to exactly pinpoint the fixes you need to make. But they're gonna start things off strong with Mikey trying to get one shot on the Widowmaker, not gonna find much. So goes back over to that Sojourn, which had gotten so much value, especially against Comrac's Freya. Now on Sojourn themselves, T4T defending up on the high ground with the Sigma, leaving the low ground for Comrack to spray and pray with that Sojourn. Same thing, of course, with Tommy up on that high ground as well. They're pushing them out, though. Shadowy following this Sojourn like there is nothing else to go for. Tommy goes in for the kill, but not gonna be able to find the follow-up. Shadowy finds a 2-piece almost without really any repercussions or any real struggle, and T4T are just completely falling apart at the seams in the first defensive hold.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Sigma composition here. They're playing a composition where they're just trying to get in your face, and on a map like King's Row, it's not like there's a lot of space to be able to play in, a lot of area to keep your distance. So as we see them already straight going over to that Ramatra in this duel, we see Comrack now going to go over to the Cassie to try and help deal with this pesky Venture.
You have to, and I love the Cassie here from Comrack. I think Cass is so strong, especially with that new, well, it's not very new anymore, but his newest perk with the piercing damage and damage over time and fire as well, right? So I love the cast here so much. And with Brigged up now, trying to traverse through the archway, T4T already set up beautifully, making sure that they're going to rotate their cooldowns, make sure these guys are not going to move the objective any further than 31 meters. But we're going to see Tommy and Vincio up on the high ground, kind of duking it out a little bit here, trying to find a little bit of an opener, and there it is. We have the teleport in coming in from Comrade, who now backs out immediately, seeing that we are going to have this Ramatra from Hambo Saw starting to walk in and pressure out the opposition. 3 turrets, mind you, on the archway, meaning we can't even go in without turning around to break them, and Fallen getting so much free pressure, free value on that Symmetra.
Again, with the Symmetra, for the side of Brigged up, it's going to be tough. If you let that beam charge get too hot, they're just going to melt you extremely quickly. Great Ravenous Vortex to get players low, as this window should be able to buy you a lot of space if you're Brigged up.
And Horseboard's going to use it immediately right on the money, and you're going to couple that with the Tectonic Shock, which does find both of your backliners from T4T, Bluey and Tommy, nowhere to be seen. Same thing with Rose, and again, they tried going for some of these swaps to deal with Shadowy's venture, but nothing has really put Shadowy in a world of hurt quite yet.
And they still have 3 ultimates, but T4T is going to have a full ward chest. But the fact that they're going to have to defend for just under 4 minutes, they have to be judicious with this. I'd be looking to possibly use a Photon Barrier plus an offensive ultimate, maybe like a High Noon or an Annihilation, maybe a window, but you don't want to use too many.
While the Photon Barrier will be used just as you had mentioned, and look at the kite away from Brigged up. They say, you know, we have time. We don't need to take this fight quite yet. They thought they were maybe going for that Annihilation opportunity, and Comrack, thankfully, able to beat the corner, find Mikey. Shadowy is yet to be scouted out, however, in that backline. Likely can put some pressure on the objective and force these guys to reposition. Bluey's kind of the one on the payload duty, but otherwise, as you mentioned, really good Photon Barrier here, really good cut away from Brigged up.
But getting the 1 kill onto Mikey just wastes a lot of time because you can't push in if you're Brigged up without it. Oh, no. But what a great Ravenous Vortex comboed with the Venture.
That was so good. As you mentioned, here comes that Sound Barrier coupled with that offensive Dead Eye. Both sides with the Sound Barrier in tow, and really, all it did was to get rid of Vincio's own overhealth, and now we're going to walk in with a very free Annihilation. From the back is the window, but even further back is Shadowy, always on the prowl, always looking for his next target, and why not go for Fallen up on that high ground?
I mean, you put pressure because they're trying to get this point in. The Symmetra could TP on, so if you continue to apply pressure, they can't touch. And I mean, you're going to see a couple people coming in, but that is all she wrote. Brigged up, comes to King's Row, dominates again, and puts themselves on match point.
They sure do. Yet again, 2-0 so far in the series. Comrack haven't gotten to play the game, of course, on that Freya. I feel like maybe we should have seen it maybe come out, or it could have been a really good tool, at least to put more pressure on that back line. But it did get so much value in the first half of King's Row. Look at that. That was a that was a beautiful bullet shot. I mean, they just walked right into it behind that window. But as we said, 2-0, match point. Oh, now the sun's gone now, guys. Beautiful. 2-0 so far. And they're looking really good. Match point is in their favor. T4T has the map and first ban again. I mean, it's a repeat of what happened last time here, Ray.
The question is, can they do anything about it? Can they find an answer to somehow try and reverse sweep this? I mean, again, this map's going to be in their favor. They're going to get the first ban, but they just have an uphill road. After this, you won't even be able to pick your map from after this one. It's all going to be in favor of Brigged up after this.
It really is. You know, me messing my little settings, but yeah, it really is gonna be in favor of Brigged up post once we go into map 3, right? And we already exhausted a payload map already, of course, being hybrid King's Row. We've exhausted control by default. You're leaving out things like Flashpoint, which again can be so good for Reaper, who's back online, mind you. We also have Ramatra, who is still a favorite on both sides. So will we see a Ramatra ban going into map 3, map 4, if we are able to get to that point? T4T needs to think about that. They need to think about if we are able to get a map win here, it becomes a lot easier. So much easier. But you're also, on the same note, allowing Brigged up to get the advantage of map and ban selection after this point forward if T4T get the win here.
Again, it's I mean it's all on this. You know, Breaked Up wins this map. They punch their ticket to the grand finals. T4T is going to have to find their way through the losers finals. So utmost importance for Brigged Up to just cleanly get their ticket in there and not have to worry at this point. As man, you know, we're like just over a week away from the end of the season. It's insane to think about.
Don't tell me that. That's crazy. It's been 8 weeks of regular season. Was it a week, 2 weeks of midseason, and it's just like, and now we have what 3 weeks into playoffs, and it's just been banger after banger. I don't think we've had really a bad match on stream. I don't think we had a bad match in any of our playoff games, but from Diamond all the way to Open. They've been really, really good. I said Diamond,
Hey,
from
Plat
Plat
exists
to
still,
Open.
okay?
I'm about to say, wait, I missed about Plat. Plat to Open. And you know, in my mind I said Plat, but my mouth said Diamond. I'm so sorry. But you know, from Plat all the way to Open, there hasn't been a bad match really at all. At least from what I've been able to cover from a lot of these streams. They've been so good, and this one is no different. This is such a good series. There's so many good moments. There's so many good opportunities from both Brigged Up and T4T that they do take, and there are some mistakes that Brigged Up are making. You know, Shadowy. I want to say this real quick. I think Shadowy, it's not easy to counter Shadowy. I think what kills Shadowy is himself sometimes, because you'll see sometimes he'll have like no cooldowns, and then it's like, oh, now we can kill Shadowy. But if Shadowy has all cooldowns, there's no stopping him whatsoever, which I think is a really funny thing to note.
And like we mentioned, you can't ban the Reaper going forward either. So
Exactly.
the Venture was also troublesome. So there's just a lot of heroes that Shadow's been able to whip out that it's not so easy to deal with. We do know what the next and what possibly could be the final map is going to be, and the map pick is New Junk City.
Yes, Flashpoint for the win here for T4T. And again, it kind of is unfortunate because a lot of these maps either are very Brawl favored, aka Suravasa, Flashpoint, Flash in general, or you're forced to go into like a very complete different comp setting. Like, for example, as you mentioned, Gibraltar for Escort, right? Very dive heavy. So you're at the mercy of, we get to outbrawl these guys, or we need to go on a composition that we're not, I don't want to say comfortable with, because these guys are very good at the game, but not as cohesive on. You know, Brawl, very good, very straightforward. So T4T decide we're gonna go Brawl one more time. We're gonna try our best, and this time we're gonna have ideally some good bans going into this. And with the Reaper no longer available, with of course Venture, it can always be a really good option on Flashpoint as well. I'm gonna throw in Ramatra in there. Rose is okay with going different characters. We haven't seen a different comp from Brigged Up quite yet.
Again, to me, this map is just saying, let's play some Ramatra, unless we see that ban coming out from T4T, which I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to rip that ban. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. They haven't fared well in the matchup, and this is one of Ramatra's best maps, because it's just a full-on brawl fest. The question is, where does Brigged Up go for here? It's not like they can ban, you know, a Zarya that we might see from the side of T4T. So the question is, do they look to go more support ban? Do you ban a Lucio and just try and make that brawl harder? Do you go DPS? The Symmetra, that makes sense as well for Brigged Up.
Yeah, that sim has been. If there's anything that Brigged Up do not want to deal with anymore, is this Symmetra. These 3 turrets really putting in a lot of pressure onto that front line. Even your back line when they're trying to walk in. Oh my god, I'm Lucio. I'm getting slowed down by these turrets. It's not fun. So Brigged Up decide, you know, we're going to take out the Symmetra here. We're also going to have that Ramatra out of the way for T4T. Here's a quick reminder of the bans we have seen so far from map 1 to map 3. Now, these have been really solid bans, I will say. Oh, yeah, and it's not first of 4. That was not a game 7. We're only doing first to 3, best of 5. So that's how you see that kind of change up a little bit there. But otherwise, these are really good bans, and I cannot wait to see exactly what Brigged Up are going to showcase to us on that front line. Because again, they haven't strayed from the Ram too much, if ever, from Lijiang all the way to King's Row.
That is going to be the golden question. What will they do to try and punch that ticket to the grand finals, and what changes will T4T make to be able to try and get there themselves?
Absolutely. And I don't think we're going to see any swaps either. So I think they're going to go in with their same 5 people from both sides. They've been all doing a fantastic job. It's just small little adjustments, small little things that need to be adjusted and fixed and worked on here for Brigged Up and T4T. Because don't forget, Brigged Up might be 2-0 right now, but they did make some mistakes. They get held for a little bit on King's Road. They did lose a little bit of the objective on Lijiang Tower, so they are not immobile. They are not a wall that you can't build down or break down, but they are very, very sturdy. So T4T have the work cut out for them as we start loading into into New Junk City relatively soon.
Can't wait to get this started. I don't know if you saw, but I was like this.
No, I was like locked in
when I'm watching the games because normally we go band straight to maps, and I was just like, okay, let me lean it, and then we came back to cams. I'm like, uh-oh.
I was like, oh, let me back up a little bit. No, whenever I'm like locked in, I'm like I look crazy. I gotta see the game. I need to see what's going on at all times. I'm right there with you, man. And if they take a little sweet time, that's fine. But I want to watch.
Oh yeah, no worries. I was just like, uh-oh, they caught me with my face close to the camera.
They call us lacking. Yo, don't cast cash. We be lacking. Y'all don't know what happens behind like when we're in game. Nah, the positioning goes horrible. It goes out the door.
Oh man. All right.
What?
New Junk City. Been a big fan of this map ever since the reworks. I mean, I was always a big Saravasa fan. Saravasa only got better with the rework, but New Junk City was not a fan of until the rework, but now I actually really like this map. So let's see what we're going to get as we see our first sighting of a Mauga this series so far, looking like from the side of Rose, as they're going to go more kind of a defensive backline with the Juno and the Brig, while Brigged Up's going to go full on Zarya speed brawl with that Reaper. The Zar Reaper, very potent combination.
Oh, and it's been a potent one since basically day one. Bubble onto the Reaper to make sure you can get free value, and then boom, you get big charge Zarya, and that's why Rose gets completely scouted out by Handle Sauce, and of course Shadowy on that Reaper once more. Fallen gets the one up onto Mikey, but there's no front line here for T4T to fall back on, so really no one is able to soak up this extra damage output from Shadowy besides these squishy characters. And if you can get a little bit of a stagger onto Bluey, it's even better for Brigged Up's odds.
Shadowy got a 5K in that fight, killed everyone. It was like, man, you let me, I got my Reaper back and I am feeling good. And I got bubbles, like, let's go, baby. So let's see. I feel like for T4T, you got to get your Mauga in a little bit better of a position. They just got isolated so early with all that early damage they took.
Yeah, she really just kind of had to go in. And that's what you do as Mauga. You go in, you go for this overrun, and then you get a stomp, and then you get the follow-up. But you gotta be so careful about that Reaper, kind of allowing that Zarya to get so much free value, of course, and free charge. Shadowy in the middle of one point against Comrade and actually loses it. Comrade gets the win at just under around, what, 20 HP? Maybe. Hamilton still finds a kill onto Rose, however. So again, no front line here for the side of T4T, and they're trying to go for the trade-off against Hamble Sauce, but the Genji versus a Zarya, a tale as old as time. Beam versus a Genji kind of renders the Genji a little bit fruitless against someone like Zarya.
So that's the issue, right? You get the Reaper down early, which is what you were hoping to do if you said T4T, but you realize, yeah, we got Reaper up, but we still have a high charge Zarya to deal with. So Hamblesauce was able to clean things up after that. We do see Rose going over to the Junker Queen. First point's going to be capped for Brigged Up, but I don't know, man. I feel like Junker Queen, it can work against the Zarya, but you have to be super careful about how you use your Carnage, how you use your Gracie, because you could just charge up the Zarya so quickly.
They're going for a little flank here. Does whiff on the Gracie. Still finds the return damage output onto Mikey, but Mikey already got one up onto Fallen, right? And you can see Rose is hyper-focusing on that Sojourn. Does find the pick with Bluey in tow. Nice Suzu comes in, tries to help Rose out, but a little bit too late as, of course, that damage output that... that was even my Kiriko. That was Horsepower. Excuse me. But either way, T4T, too much damage output. They can't find a way to revolve or rotate around the Zarya.
Point Cap going to come in as both teams essentially. I mean, outside of the Junker Queen swap, everyone else going to have their ults for T4T. Brigged Up has all 5 of them, as we see Shadowy already looking for a way to use this Death Blossom.
That's it. Rose is gone. Graviton Surge, too much to bear for just the Queen to utilize. That's also the thing I also really want to quickly note. Rose only has Shout as a defensive tool, not a bubble, not a shield or anything like that, you know?
That's a one thing for all you Zarya players out there is you don't need these ginormous graviton surges where you get the whole team. You get one key target like the tank like that and you finish them off. That's all you need.
You have Sound Barrier, though. This could be good with the... Oh, okay. Blade goes in early. No barrier to go with it. Just the Dry Blade gets to Vincio out of the way and slicing and dicing onto Mikey. Finally, a little bit of a reprieve here for T4T. They get the three-piece in their favor. They got to take care of Shadowy, though, because Shadowy can always keep this stall going on.
Oh,
And you know what? We're going to go for
no!
the bubble into the Blossom. A two-piece is all we need to shut down two of the biggest hurdles for Brigged Up, and that's going to be the second point already capped and loaded.
It felt like they finally had their advantage, Mott. They got everyone except the Zara Reaper, and they're just able to clean things up with that Death Blossom. T4T just cannot catch a break. But this is the next fight. They're going to have a one ult advantage. I don't expect all teams to throw out all their ultimates, but they have the advantage in the economy finally. So let's see what they can do with it.
Should be good. We had the overclock coming through from Fallen. T4T should have that advantage state. They actually forced out these continued rush from Horseboy, so that could be good here. Bluey also being using his own, and there's both sound barriers and continued rushes on deck here. Rampage negated a little bit by Vincio's sound barrier, but it's not looking very good here as the rest of the team are just faltering a lot. T4T not able to get that footing off of four ultimates having been expended.
Oh, yeah, that was all four ults, as you mentioned, and still Mikey held on to the overclock. So now you're facing down an overclock plus a grab if you even need to do that. You have absolutely nothing to work with if you're set at T4T. It is looking like rough waters. They have to hope they can find some sort of early pick, because this is not going to be an easy one.
Well, you hear the graviton surge being used by Hamble. Finds two for their efforts, including Rose herself. Mikey's traded off for it, great, but not really too much follow-up after the fact. Fallen targeted easily by Brigged Up, and 45%, more than halfway now to full completion.
And the issue, Mod, is this is probably their last chance with how fast these points tick up. You have no ultimates. Fallen's now going to go over to the Cassidy. Comrade going to go over to the Tracer. Mikey still has the overclock. Shadowy's going to have the Death Blossom. It's looking very good for Brigged Up to punch their ticket to the grand finals.
Oh, they don't know he's there. They don't know he's right behind there. No one scouted out. Okay,
Well,
thankfully we do see Lucio does find him quick enough, but it's enough time to build up to the Death Blossom, which we have been talking about so often here. Now going to the back line, good hinder, but it's just not enough. Two-piece, and that long-range perk taking care of Bluey, who was so far away, but not quite safe enough. It's a 3-0 here for Brigged Up, and they move over, punching their ticket into grand finals. T4T, we'll see you again on the lower brackets.
We'll see, you know, who's going to come out of the losers finals, Mod, but man, I feel like Brigged Up once again just made a statement like, hey, we're the one seed, we're the favorites, and we just dominated T4T. Who is going to be able to give them a challenge?
Well, it has to come down to either, again, T4T in that lower finals or SCR Ascendants. Those are the only two in the way or battling it out for that lower side grand final slot, right? So those are the only ones that can say something against Brigged Up. Unfortunately, it wasn't T4T this time. It's very much the same song and dance we had seen on October 24th, where Brigged Up got the 3-0 against T4T before. So T4T has a couple of things to work on, a couple of things to VOD review between now and ideally the getting back into grand finals. But on that note, Ray, what a series. 3-0 here for Brigged, kind of showcasing a finesse, a masterclass on the Ramatra and even the Zarya Brawl.
I will say it will be interesting taking a look at this bracket. SCR Ascendants went down in round number 1 against DYS Spectre. So they basically, we haven't seen T4T or Brigged Up play these teams in this bracket yet. So I think that's going to make an interesting matchup for the losers finals to see if SCR can run the lower bracket and go face Brigged Up in the winners final in the grand finals. But for now, we are going to have a winners interview for you guys from the winning team. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with that.
And we're back after a fantastic 3-0 series in favor of Brigged Up. We're gonna have not just one, but two interviewees here for you today. We have the Shadow himself. Shadowy is here with Vincio. Literally, I think he was Reaper himself, bro. And I
have the Reaper guy.
You might be the Reaper guy himself. You might actually be. In all seriousness, though, great series for you guys. This is we talked about it a little bit earlier. It was a rematch from October 24th between you guys and T4T. Going into this winners finals, did you guys expect it to go similarly to last time, the 3-0?
We kind of had our hopes that we'd be able to put up the same performance. We struggled on Kings Row specifically the first time we played them in mid-season finals. We struggled massively on Kings Row, but our Kings Row today kind of made up for that, and we're very, very proud of how we played.
I agree. Like, I think especially our team now, like, we are much more communicative. Like, we love to take initiatives. We're calling out, like, the comm structure is just really great as well.
Yeah, so obviously you guys have punched your ticket to grand finals. We know that the losers finals is going to be against T4T and SCR Ascendants, who has been on a tear in that lower bracket. I mean, honestly, who do you guys expect to see in the grand finals?
I think most of our team are gonna say T4T. They've been kind of the more dominant team in regular season. But SCR have, like, SCR 3-0'd the team that 3-0'd us in week 1. Sure, we haven't lost a series since then, but they still are kind of a force to be reckoned with, so we'll see, honestly. But I think most of us are going to say T4T.
Yeah.
Sweet. And then, so obviously your guys' next step is grand finals. You guys gonna win that 4-0? You guys think you guys gonna be just as dominant next time around? I want a statement.
I think so. I think we've got that. We got it pretty easily.
I think so too. Maybe we might drop a map just to be
No.
not even. No.
Actually, we haven't dropped a map in playoffs so far. We can't let that up now.
If we drop a map, it's gonna be on us. It's not because of the enemy team. I mean, yeah. I think Shadow gets it.
Yeah, we're not dropping.
We're confident.
We haven't dropped a map so far in playoffs. We ain't stopping that now. We ain't starting that now.
I think that we said we'll drop a map only if we Ajax 6 times in a row, and that's it. That's what I'm getting from that. Which I will say, again, fantastic work, really showcasing a lot of flexibility, especially with a lot of the targeted bans. And on that note, Shadowy, your Reaper targeted a couple of times, right? Really, either in the ban phase or straight up, literally targeted in the gameplay.
They really hate the Reaper guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say they really don't like you, my guy. I will say, what did you guys have to do with the Venture, of course, on Kings Row? What was the game plan, knowing, okay, I don't have Reaper here, but Venture could be an option? What was the game plan heading into Kings Row with the Venture in tow?
I think it was mainly just kind of mess around with their sim TP setups, especially on, I think it was our second point attack when I just literally targeted the sim in almost their spawn just to mess up their touch with TP. Because Venture, like, when they're underground, they just can't be hit at all. So I can just go up to the sim or whoever's trying to take the TP and just mess it up massively, and it just causes them to kind of lose track of the fight, and it lets us just gain the advantage massively.
No, absolutely. And we saw that multiple times. And again, you guys did a fantastic job. Great barriers, by the way, Vincio. Either responding something or always on it with using it to make sure that you don't lose Handle early. Like, that was... Yeah. There were times where Handle was going so low, and you're like, sound barrier. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how we live, but we live that. So, really good. Kudos to both of you.
His beat on their second point attack when we stopped the point at, like, 0.2 meters or something was insane. Shout out to Vink for that one. That was an insane
very clutch beat. It was a very clutch beat. We organized the recontest with Venture. Like, we were calling out like, Venture goes first, no one else goes first, and when Venture burrows out, that's when I beat. and we just had the ult advantage at that point.
You sure did. And I'll leave you guys with one last question. That one went for too long. My bad. But quick little question for both of you. As always, who do you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
I'll shout
Saria.
out. Yeah, we love Saria.
I love Saria.
Saria
Best
is
supporter.
a great friend behind the scenes as well. Keeping our mental up. Shout out Angel as well for helping coach us. Shout out the team, of course. Bonker as well for wishing us good luck. Bonker from SCR. We love Bonker. A funny one as well that I've just seen Humble put in Twitch chat. Somehow surviving the need to take a toilet break during the series. He was screaming for one desperately, but he survived it and then ran off immediately after the series. It was beautiful.
You can just ask for one. It's okay.
I don't know. We just wanted we wanted the momentum and just wanted to keep going and just get it over with as quick as possible.
No, definitely.
Oh, yeah, and as well, sorry. Shout out to T4T as well for being, great opponents. They're always really fun.
Always a pleasure to
against. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to play against them. So shout out to them.
Thank you guys so much for your time, for your energy, for your effort also playing today, going to grand finals now, and we cannot wait to see where you guys land once we figured out who is going to meet you up there, right? So in the meantime, get some great rest. Tell Angel I said hi. I know who Angel is. My coach as well, was my coach as well. We love Angel in this house.
We love
and
Angel.
With that being said, have a good one, and we'll see you guys for your grand finals match.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Ray, when they said Zarya, I thought they meant like the character and not person. I was like, oh, we're shouting out Zarya.
I said the
character.
same thing. I was gonna call it out and be like, you banned Zarya map 1.
I was like, wait, we're shouting out the whole character? That's so baller. No, it was a person, but shout out to Zarya as well.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to be like, look, you may be the Reaper guy, but my team is named after Reaper. Drop the guns, like.
Truth nuke. Wait, 2 teams named after Reaper. Wait.
We're in the because we're the same org. The teams are named after Reaper stuff.
I love that. That's it. That's the whole org's thing is just Reaper. I love that. It's
yeah. I think
meta.
we're gonna have a
meta.
lower seeded team next season called Shadow Step. So.
Stop. That goes crazy. Okay, back to everything. Ray, it was a pleasure casting this winners finals with you. We still have lower bracket. We still have grand finals lined up for the last 3 teams here. SCR Ascendant. We have Brigged Up and T4T all staying alive, but 2 in losers finals waiting with heavy breath.
Just a reminder before we go, can we bring up that schedule for today?
Absolutely.
Just to remind you guys what else we have going on today. CGL 2, we still have this match going on between WBZ Dream Eaters and MSU. Winner will go to the grand finals. That is losers finals. So make sure to tab into that. In between NA and EU, we will have the South American Grand Finals being having an English broadcast as well as their native language broadcast. That will be happening at 1900 Eastern. So make sure to tune to that. And then obviously, as on the screen, Visor versus Atlas Kasoku, which is the Masters for NA, their losers finals. So that has a grand final implication. And then we have Tarnish going up against Primordius Rising, which is NA Open losers semifinals.
It's first of all a very packed day today. There's even more broadcasts happening tomorrow. There's more broadcasts happening next week as teams schedule their lower brackets, their lower finals, and their grand finals. Everything is starting to climb to a head here, and we're almost done with season 16 of CGL. Absolutely insane, by the way, to say. We've been here for so long, and it's been such a good season, I think, for all divisions. But on that note, Ray, thank you again so much for casting with me. My beautiful producer, Luau, my beautiful observer, Mochi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the amazing broadcast we were able to put together for everyone today, and of course, for the rest of the day. On that note, we'll see you guys later for some of those other EU and NA matches happening at the today. Have a good one.